Your babysitter. I'm sure your babysitter has some thoughts. Good morning.
Good,
Good evening.
good evening.
You had to go to the other locker room. Ooh. Can't
Mm.
make this stuff up.
We should
Oh
have
man.
exclusive passes to backstage conversation.
They don't want this
Backstage,
backstage.
these
They don't
backstage
want
passes.
these. They don't want these backstage. I don't want these backstage
Backstage shenanigans. Literally, backstage shenanigans.
shenanigans. Oh man.
All right, so how do we go? Are we live? We live.
We
Yes.
already live while
Yes.
you're eating all them thins.
I mean, just snacks.
Now introduce yourself. Thank you everyone for joining us. Introduce yourself, sir, right here with the blue on. Yeah. Him. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the show. I am very fortunate and honored to be in the mix again with the dynamic duo known as Angel Simmons and LeAnzar Stockley. While while LeAnzar inconspicuously chews up his last cookie, we'll have
Hmm.
Angel go ahead and introduce herself. I can't do it anymore. I just realized I can't do it anymore because y'all got so many credentials, and I'm always leaving something out. And I just let y'all introduce your own self because it just makes sense.
That's what we doing. Okay. Well, my name is Angel Simmons. I am a certified relationship coach. I am half of the dynamic duo and a contributor to the show, which you are watching.
Yes, you
I'm
are.
excited to be here. I am the author of two books.
Two
Uh,
of them.
Love's Great Design, Uncovering the Power and Purpose of Human Relationship, which is a 52-week devotional, as well as Target of Love, Surviving Narcissistic Abuse, a journey back to Love's Great Design. I am an actress, a model, producer, speaker, storyteller. I am
Stripper.
no.
Oh, okay.
I am a pageant coordinator and and contestant coach for the Miss Royalty International pageants. I am an educator, a manager, great friend and lover, uh,
Oh, mm,
excellent daughter and
mm.
sister, and
I got a question.
I, d- I
I
don't know.
do too.
Do
Mm,
lots of things, but
mm.
that's a good start for the evening. I'll turn it over to Mr. Stockley now.
And she got a martini
I'm,
to match the.
I'm done. I'm not through. I, I, am, I am done for the whole night.
Oh,
I'm done. For the,
oh man, Lee,
I'm
bring
done
us
for the
in. Bring us
whole.
in, Lee. Lee, bring
I'm
us
done for the whole
in.
night.
I mean, you made me do it myself, so I'm gonna do it how I'm gonna do it.
You do it. You
Just
do
say,
it. And with that martini glass that
just
just
say.
so happened to be the same color. Come on, color scheme.
Well, I guess mine is the same color as my shirt.
Hey, you
Well,
said we was. We told them
mine
to
the same
come and
color as your
toast
shirt.
to us. All right, we toasting
Well,
tonight.
all right.
Hey,
Well, I'm toasting with Fiji
cheers,
natural artesian water. I am LeAnzar Stockley.
TG.
Your certified relationality specialist. Um, uh, I went to college at no, I'm just playing.
Come on,
But I
call the
am
roll.
right. Got to call the roll. Let people know that there's credentials behind this. No, but I'm a certified relationality specialist, and I do counseling and coaching and all things relationality. I try to, and author of two books. Latest book is Relationship Ready.
How many?
That's relation. I'm sorry, I'm the author of three.
Okay,
However,
I
I'm only
missed.
dealing with two right now.
Oh,
So, which is Relationship Ready, All right, if you ain't got it, get it. It might help you. Might help you. And the other one is Relationality. This is the relationship book of relationship books. All right. So for me at least, Relationality, consciously aligning to our divine relational worth. So yeah, those two books are available somewhere.
If you ain't got it, get it.
Anywhere books are sold.
No, they're
So
available on LeAnzarStockley.com. That's where they're
yes,
available.
yes, at
LeAnzarStockley.com.
LeAnzarStockley.com. That's the
So you
best
can
place to
get
get them.
all your coin.
Yeah, because I need
Thank
all my
you.
coin. I need
Thank
all
you.
the coin.
Speaking of
Um,
coins,
yeah, yes. What about the coins?
what about the coins? How can they help you get more coins?
Oh, follow me. Listen, folks. Go over there to the gram. Over there to the gram. You gotta do it on the gram. You can't do it on the Facebooks on the book. But go over there on the gram. Follow me. LeAnzar, not the normal Soul Society 61, but my LeAnzar 27 or LeAnzar account at LeAnzar. Can somebody type that in the chat? And follow me because listen, what is it? Instagram has finally given me opportunity to make some money. Yeah, they finally give me opportunity to make some money from these posts and reels. So just go watch my reels. All right, just watch the reels. All you gotta do is look at them. All you gotta do is like them. All you gotta do is share them. All you gotta do is comment. All you gotta do is peek at it, whatever. And I get credit for you watching that. So help a brother out. And it's some good stuff in a little minute and 30 seconds and under. Yeah, let's get this coin.
Get this coin.
That was a great introduction, you both. That was pretty funny. Pretty funny,
Hmm.
but very, very good.
And
Very
who are
in depth.
you? Who are you?
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm just a nobody trying to tell
trying to
every
tell
man.
everybody about somebody who can change anybody. Woo!
Oh.
I'm changed.
What
Oh,
happened?
flame,
What
flame, flame. Oh,
I've been
shots.
changed. I've been changed.
The angels in heaven signed your name.
Just that
Yeah.
fast. Just that fast.
Mm.
Woo!
Happened like a twinkling of an eye.
In the moment.
Woo! It was.
Mm. Your eye twinkling.
Y'all is giving an intro tonight. I don't know what is going on.
It's a kickback.
This
Y'all
is the
better kick back
kickback.
to the end of the year.
This is the kickback. But in case you're wondering who the goofy chocolate one is, I'm Bryson. Friend, lover, sister. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm Bryson from Sweet Spot Media, manager, um, producer, host of this incomparable show called the Show. So if you guys want to find me, you can reach me at the original Bryson on IG. And can you please go share a couple of my reels too? I only got two or three. I don't have a lot like LeAnzar, but they offered me like $10 or whatever. And times is hard, so I'm gonna need my ten
Get it.
dollars.
Did
Get
they?
it. Get it.
Man.
So
Get it.
can y'all go
$10.
share mine
Good.
too? When you just go to his page and then go to my page
Yes.
and just share everything, please.
Tell
Thank
them
you.
to tell them to holler at me.
Can you
You
be on
know,
Instagram, child?
I can use that $10. Ain't nobody send me nothing.
I ain't
Mm.
ashamed either.
It's coming. It's coming.
Money cometh, money cometh, money cometh. You feel that? You see that? That quickening.
Woo!
All right, y'all. We are here and we're clearly more excited than we thought we were. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you. We had to let y'all, get in, get situated, all the things. So we just provide a little comedy relief in the meantime. But thank you guys so much for joining us. This is our last show of 2022.
Whew.
We made it and we still together.
We
Mm.
still
We
Because many of
stand
them ain't.
together.
mi-
Many
Ah,
of
mi-
them ain't.
millions didn't
anybody
make
didn't
it.
make it.
Millions didn't make it. Um,
Millions did make it, but
one of them.
was.
Yes, we
The
did. So you have we appreciate you support. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We appreciate your
we really do.
comments. We appreciate you kicking back with us. So here we are kicking back with you, and we're just gonna have a review, a year in review over the topics that we've talked about. Maybe what stood out to you, maybe what stood out the most to us. And if something new comes along amongst this conversation on tonight, we'll talk about that too.
Mhm.
Um, so if I am correct, we've done six shows this season. Done
This
the
is
right number?
number 6.
This is number six, right? So our first, we started off in February with "What You Won't Do for Love," and was that a spinoff from "What About My Love" that we did at the end of 2021? Right? I
We
remember
did
that.
Valentine's
Yes, indeed.
2021. Yep.
Oh,
That.
that was
Hmm.
and then that was the fast forward Valentine's for this year.
Yeah.
That was the question for last year. Then this year, I remember. That was in February. What You Won't Do for Love. That was a good show. That was a fun show. Uh, because people be lying, talking about you ain't never, yeah, I swear to God, you ain't never gonna catch me with wolves and woo,
Mm-hmm.
woo, woo. And then we see you doing it. We catch you doing it, and it's
We
your
see you
prerogative.
doing it.
But don't be talking about that you not.
Mm.
So number two, the second show of the year. This one was good too.
This was a tongue
This
twister.
this this one was so nice. We had to do it twice actually.
Mm.
Um, no, not this one. The next one. This next one was hookups, hangups, and situationships, hosted to
Oh, I remember
ghosted.
that.
You
I remember
remember?
that.
Mm.
Remember?
I remember that one.
Mm.
Uh huh. Now, after I name all of these guys, we're gonna go back and we're gonna highlight or discuss what you guys remember, what really stands out to you in these shows. Um, Next one in June, Candy, Compromise and Compassion. Um,
Candy.
you
Ow.
feel it when you know. Hey, don't do that. No. All right, because I'll sing that whole song. Um,
Mm.
and this was basically about the feelings of relationships. Sometimes we think it's sweet, hence the candy, but it's a
Mm.
little sour patch kid up in there somewhere. So
Mm. Mm.
how far will you go? How much are you willing to deal with? Is it really love? So we
Mm.
that one we did a double bubble on that. So
Double
part two
bubble.
was in August for that one. Summer love, same old love, lusting and not loving at all.
Mm.
hmm And
And the
then
schedule.
and the schedule and the schedule.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And then our most recent show was called Reciprocity, the Give Back, balancing relationships without losing yourself within it. That's a hard thing to do for a lot of people. That's a hard thing to do. How do you keep your own identity? How do you have I guess, a commitment or, a trustworthy feeling within your mate, trustworthiness within yourself? And how do you just continue to be who you are, and grow into who you're supposed to be within your relationship? Reciprocity, that was a good one. That was a good one. So, and here we are today. So, what I want to ask my dynamic duo, what stood out to you? We could go from show to show if you would like, or if you have a particular highlight on a show that's heavy, you could do whichever ones that you like, and explain to us what stood out, why, how it affected you. Did something in that show make you kind of make you change? Because most of the time we be talking to ourselves, we be preaching to ourselves. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe there's
Mm-hmm.
something in that show um have your light bulb go off and make you do or think differently in whatever particular circumstance where it applied to you. Let me see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch it. Okay. Angel, you go first.
Well, if I want to just go down the list, thinking about what you won't do for love, I think what stood out most to me was the conversation about deal breakers and
Mm-hmm.
how many of us have this list of what we are not willing to budge on, and how that list deeply affects our relationships or lack thereof. That's
Mm,
that's the first
mm.
thing that came to mind. Everybody got a what they ain't gonna do, and it's amazing to look back, decades behind you and see how much stuff you did that you said you would never, not never,
Ever, ever,
not
ever, ever.
never, or even judge people that did,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it worked for them. It didn't necessarily work for your situation, but it worked for other people. And I think that's why a lot of people are lonely, because they got imagined. I can't even think of the word. They just imaginary. They got this
Imaginary.
imaginary list
Imaginary.
of knots, that prevent them from really being authentic in their relationships and finding uh, somebody to share that space with them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. That's a definition of loneliness by itself. You start talking about that. But yeah, what stood out for me, I think, this year, the biggest one to me was the reciprocity one. You know, I just, because I think that's all relationship is. It's a matter of reciprocity, and not the tit for tat, like how we do, or not even necessarily just scratch my back, I scratch my back, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. I think just that interaction, that exchange, not necessarily like transactional, but more so just in the sense that the energy that we bring, to the table, and being tapped into the very core essence of our being. You know what I mean? And then living these relational lives. Because most of us do our relationships from a standpoint of reaction to,
Hmm.
instead of from a space of, this is who I am.
Can you say
So
that
I'm
again?
I'm a lot of people do their relationships from that standpoint of reaction to everything going on around me, instead of just basically showing up as who you are, just showing up as your being with all of your energy and all of your whatever, and then responding to life from that particular space. So that reciprocity one to me, because we went a little bit deeper into talking about reciprocity and not just whatever, and that to me was a really good one. And I think is very key for any relationships that we have, just as relational beings, period.
What do you think the difference is between a reaction and a response?
I think our reaction, I personally think our reactions are really just more so like a reflex, or like and oftentimes a defense,
Mm-hmm.
can be defensive or offensive, versus actually intentionally thought, like in pure intention,
Right.
actually thought out, and saying, what does people who are being, right? Because I always go, we have to be who we're going to be. Then we do what people who are being do, and then we can have what people who do what they do have, whatever. So it's like, what response would come from people who are just being who they are? What is
Mm-hmm.
the normal and natural response, that would come from that, versus the reactive response of, I think, and I guess I have to say, what pulls you out of your center, and you
Mm-hmm.
act being pulled from out of your center.
Mm.
The pressures, the anxieties, all
The
those
the
things kick
drama, the
in.
trauma,
Mm-hmm.
everything, that all of how folks have done you, and whatever, and they're kicking in, and then you quickly respond, a lot of times impulsively.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's the reaction. The
Mm-hmm.
reaction is impulsive, and the response is
Mm-hmm.
The response
intentional.
is, I think the response is more intentional.
Hmm.
It's more
It's
to me.
more. It's
I
more
think it's,
rational.
Mm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And it's more inclusive of taking all into account of what's happening around here, what's going on. It comes from a space of awareness.
Mm-hmm.
To me, generally, reactions don't necessarily have to come from a space of awareness. They just come from, well, one, they're driven by fear. A lot of times our reactions are just kind of driven by fear sometimes, or just driven by the need to survive, the need to whatever, whereas our responses bring
Driven
about what we
by love.
even, if you think about it, where we even get the word responsibility. Our responses, tap more into more of a core essence of who we are, I think,
Yeah,
to give us
I,
basically so we can respond soundly,
Yeah,
that's good.
hopefully, on a good day.
on a good day. For me, I think my favorite show that stood out to me the most was definitely I want to say most likely the Reciprocity as well. But what was the name of the show where Moist Mouth Mondays was developed?
Hookups,
Hook,
hang-ups.
that makes
And
sense.
that was the show that stood out the most for me. I was just going in order, but that one stood out the most for me this year because I think that's most people's situation. We're
Hmm.
we're not in relationships. We are in limbo um, for a number of reasons. But yeah, that's what that came.
You can't you can't even hold it. You can't even
That's where
hold
it
it.
came from.
Some of us,
Okay.
even like you said, even in limbo. Some people in relationships are actually not in relationships.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, we're in. A lot of us find ourselves, especially these days. There's a lot of, I'm going to make up a word, reaction chips that we're in. We're just basically
Say that
bouncing
again.
off of
That what was that?
reaction chips.
Hmm.
Reaction chips.
Reaction shifts.
We're basically just bouncing off of each other. Let
Wow.
me see what you're gonna do. Let me see what you're gonna do. Then I'm gonna do it. And we're not even listening to each other anymore. It's because you ever heard them talk about, like, when we're listening to folks, are you listening to hear what they're saying, or are you
Yes.
listening already with the
To
thought of
to
your
respond.
response? You
Hmm.
know what I mean? It's like, and a lot of times we're coming from that space. We don't really see each other. I just recently talked about, even in therapy. I just talked about in therapy, one of my peeves of what I feel, relationally in the world, and why some relationships don't feel fulfilling. I was like, if I communicate something that's going on, most people are just listening to most people are just listening to the problem,
Hmm.
or they're just listening to whatever. It's like, you're not listening to my heart. You're not listening to what I'm actually saying, where I'm actually going. And even said, was kind of think about this in a therapy session. It's like, a lot of people listen when we're trying to learn each other. You listen and you draw your conclusion of a person.
Hmm.
You're not listening. You're not listening to who they say they are. You're not really listening to who they are from their perspective. So then everybody's walking around feeling lonely, because a part of being close is, it's not just you drawing your theory about a person. It's you actually trying to understand who a person believes they are from their perspective.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
And that, I mean, and that goes into, I guess, grasping, the authenticity from that person and of that person. But and it's so much harder to listen to people try to tell you who they are,
yeah.
when it's really an actionary kind of process. It has to be displayed, it has to be shown,
Hmm. Hmm.
versus the telling. But that's like you said,
Versus
that's
just
how
telling.
you, yeah, that's how you
Hmm.
meet people, that's how you get acquainted with people. um Angel, what was next for? I know we kind of went out of order. Me and Lee was all over the place, but I know you were going down the road. So what was
That's
next
what
for
we
you?
do.
Um, for hookups, hangups, and situationships, other than the name being long as ever, um, like I said, that stood out for me because that's a lot of that's the reality for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like LeAnzar said, even in a relationship, you might still be in limbo. Um, but from hosted to ghosted, that was a whole nother world of uh, dating, as they're calling it today, that I was not familiar with. So it was a lot of info dropped, well, nuggets dropped, because I've never been a part of the online dating world, so a lot of that was new to me. Um, but even in situationships, just how careless and callous we have become in handling each other. I think that was a lot of the conversation. It was really eye opening to see where we are as a society, and this generation, and how we treat each other, how we neglect each other, how we walk over each other. I think a lot of that came from that conversation. So that stood out the most for me, just looking at who we've become, and
Hmm.
wondering how long it's going to be before we see a turnaround, and how many people are willing to, take that step. Like I feel like we need a whole new movement. Like, the 60s had a movement, the 70s had the movement. I feel like we need a whole nother movement, just in compassion and respect for each other, that we have not seen in a few generations.
Hmm. Willingness was a key word you said there.
Yeah.
Willingness is it's just a huge word. To me, it's one of the biggest relational words ever. Most of us are walking around willful instead of actually walking around willing. And it's is two totally different positions and energies of life. So when everybody's walking around in this willful way, we're at odds generally.
Mm-hmm.
Than being open and willing and actually, really engaging in the way I think we really were designed. So yeah.
What about reciprocity for you, Angel?
That kind of goes back to the other topic, just stuff we don't see, um, and how we treat each other, and the lack of compassion, and the lack of consideration for, um, what we're doing, what we're giving, what we're willing to give. I think a lot of our topics were kind of intertwined, in regards to what authentic relationships should look like versus what we're seeing today.
Hmm.
And you have
Mm-hmm.
a whole lot for that one.
Mm-hmm. So, out of all of these that we've done, these shows that we've done this year, have you felt, and this is for either of you, have you felt or received a shift or a change based on our topics and our conversation within your relationships or within yourselves?
I think I think the shift that for me, the shift that I feel is it just brought more awareness to me. It's just even more, and I already got a lot going on in here in his mind, but it really brought a lot more awareness to things because and it's made me look up. I've always felt this way, but it's made me even look even deeper into saying I don't want to look up 10 years from now, and I didn't do right by my relationships, you know, but two, the people that I'm in relationship with didn't do right by me.
Mm.
It's like we have these conversations, we talk about this stuff, we do this show, we have, all of us are on multiple things, and it's like, what does it mean at the end of the day?
Right.
What does it mean? Does this actually mean that we're going to have better relationships? Because again, I do my best to try to align the best way that I can in the relationships that I have. But you can get burned out trying to do that by yourself. If life is a relationship and you're the only person that seems to be trying, even willing, there's that word again, trying to align to that, then we're going to start looking at our relationships and at some point, well, I think people already do, but somewhat in contempt.
Mm.
And I don't want to have contemptuous relationships. I just really don't. So those shows like the reciprocity and stuff like that, it made me it makes me want to show up more or show up more intentional. But I'd be lying if I didn't say it also made me look at all my other relationships and say, well, do they show up? You know, so it's like an evaluation, you know, for me.
I would say for me, it would have been the compromise and compassion topics. Um, Even though they didn't necessarily stand out the most in thinking about our shows for the year, my actions have reflected more
Mm.
based on those two shows, in how I make amends when I know I've been out of pocket. First of all, being aware when I'm out of pocket, trying to
How
make
you make men's do what?
uh,
Sorry, I had to.
terrible, terrible.
I had to.
That's true.
I had to.
Trying to be more aware of when I am not aligned in my relationships, having hard conversations. I've apologized a few times for a few things to a few people, and really just
Mm,
trying to be more present. Um, Trying to be more present in some of my relationships, especially in my friendships. Uh, it's just a few. It's a few things. It's a few things that I took away from the compromise and compassion segments. I mean, we had to do it twice, so it gave me some time to think about it. But simple things like acknowledging the fact that you raised your voice, and
mm,
having to get back on the phone and apologize for raising your voice. That's stuff I wouldn't have done that 5 years ago, but
mm.
noticing how it affects other people, noticing how it affects me because I know I was out of character. Um,
Come on, that's good.
so things like that, and not always getting my way.
Mm.
I didn't realize how much I get my way. So, when I don't get my way,
Spoiled brat.
right, I am.
Rotten,
I
rotten.
truly, truly am rotten. Um, and blame my mama. I'm the baby. I just left. I just did my laundry. I blame my mama. But I, it was a revelation. With a lot of things, and I mean, as recent as this week, I had to, I was kind of stank acting, and as soon as somebody left, I had to get on the phone. Okay, you want to talk about this now? Or you want to talk about this tomorrow? That's the compromise, but we're gonna talk about it. Which one? As opposed to just blowing it off and sweeping it under the rug, and then next time I see you, we gonna act like it happened. No, let's talk about it, um,
Mm.
and see if we can do better next time. But things like that have been more. I've been more aware of them since those shows.
So you practicing what you preach, huh?
I'm trying, because otherwise, what we doing it for? I mean, if we're not going to be the conduits of all of these good nuggets of wisdom, I can't have nobody popping up in the chat like, you cussed me out yesterday. Did I? I can't have that. I don't want nobody watching the show looking like this. Really, is she really talking about? Is she really talking about compassion? The way she was
Right.
acting, yes. I don't want that. I don't want that for me. I don't want that for me.
We got to be good condoms.
Good conduits.
Do it.
Oh.
Well, condoms too. They protect. We have to be good protectors.
Well, what brand are we? What brand are we then? If
I'm
we gotta
most
be 'em,
definitely
what brand are we? You Magnum League.
Nope. I get mine custom made.
I almost broke this glass sitting it,
I
sitting it on the table.
No, I do. That's the truth. That is true. That's true.
You get yours custom made.
That's what him said.
Okay, we'll talk about that at the end of the show,
Off air.
behind the
Off air.
scenes shenanigans,
Off
because I
air.
have questions.
The people need to know.
No,
Ain't
they
no
don't.
Oh, but then
excuses out here,
tell them
folks.
then. You know
Ain't no
what? Nope.
excuses. No, not about
Tell
me.
them.
I'm just saying they need to know. Ain't no
okay.
excuses. Ain't no
Ain't no
excuses. Folks.
excuses.
You can go get one made specifically for you,
For
and
you.
it ain't that for you, and it ain't that expensive.
And so it's fitted directly to your.
Yeah, you got to send your measurements in, but it's called my one fit.
My
And
one
it's
fit.
Yes, it's
for your one fit.
it's for your one fit. Yeah,
That's very interesting.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I don't wear condoms because they went. Well, then go get one made. Like,
Hmm.
you know,
Angel just sipping on her tea.
is that tea in there?
My
So, is some
one, my onefit.com, what it was going.
because right while I'm over
Some
here,
something
Right.
like that. But they ain't giving us no money for this
Oh,
broadcast.
well, we can't
But
be
yeah, you
promoting
know.
your
right.
brand on the show then. Sorry.
But we do want the people to be safe. We
But it
want
is
these folks
interesting,
to be safe.
Okay, all right.
I was googling. Sorry, because I wanted to see if it was. It is. It's
No,
a
it is a
thing.
thing. I'm serious.
Uh,
I
it's
went
a
You
and
thought
got
he
it
thing.
to
was
the people.
lying?
No, I didn't think
I
he
went.
was lying, but I wanted to
Just had to
see.
confirm it.
I just wanted to see, and you get 15% off right now if you sign up.
Come on, folks.
I don't have one of those. I don't need to. Jesus, what?
You send that to somebody right quick. Um,
Wait
Anyway.
until I swallow.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yes. Let's keep that in mind.
I mean,
There's gonna be water all over my computer, just
the
like
door is just wide open.
This ties right into tomorrow, Moist Mouth Monday.
come on now.
Um,
That's
um,
what the people want.
y'all are nuts. But I think, Angel, I'm in the same boat as you. Like, I have to, and I think this is probably one of the reasons I gained so much from doing these shows with you guys. It's more than just about, because people will be like, well, how do you know all that information, or how do you know what's right and blah blah blah, and I think it's because if you allow yourself to be in the situation or share uh which one of these topics that you've been a part of. So how I do, so let's give you a little background, audience. I typically develop the topics based off of whatever the case may be. Well, it could be a conversation that one of us have had. It could be something that I read on, something we shared, something we discussed as a group, or a lot of times for me, it's now we get these big long word topics. I don't know how we get that, but it's usually an experience that I've had. When I hosted my radio shows, I would pick my topics just based on experiences that I have been a part of, whether it affected me directly or indirectly. So that's
Mhm.
how these show titles come about. So it's always very, very interesting to me once they are shared, once we start talking about them, what can I gain from it? What do I need to release from it? Um,
Oh,
so
okay.
that was definitely as a whole for me the whole season, like we got a,
It
a,
was a season.
a TV show or something. Come
It
on,
was.
TV show,
Right.
come on.
This was
Come
the
on,
season.
show.
Yeah. So I definitely grasp, from all of it, and I definitely try to walk in the conversations that we have. I try to walk in those daily. Accountability, self-awareness, all the things. It works. It helps. This is awesome.
I think it does help. Like saying it, and because a lot of times we say these kind of things, you talk about it, and people just like whatever. But I do think it helps. I really believe that these kind of things help bring us to a space of having relationships in a healthy way. Like of course, we're not perfect at it, but I do think that this helps us move in that direction. And that seed, I think that seed that what we're speaking comes from, I believe, a seed of relationality on the inside of us, and I think it goes into our lives and into others when we actually come from that space. So I guess it makes a difference. Sometimes I think it's a slow difference for me because I feel all of the world a lot of times. But I'm like, I think it does make a difference. I know it's made a difference for me. The reason love is almost like it's how we say something is second nature.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like it's first nature. It's really supposed to be first nature, and it's becoming that because I fill my life with love, or at least I try to. And that's not just filling it with words of love,
Mm-hmm.
but actually trying to fill it with being love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when you dig in and you plant in that kind of energy, you're gonna start seeing things from that particular energy. Now you're also gonna see some horrible stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now you have an awareness, your vibration is up here of love. So then you start to recognize stuff that ain't love, or that ain't whatever it is that we're talking about. So when we stand in that energy of it, I think you invite it in. You're saying, "Hey, I'm open. I'm willing. I want to learn. I want to align. I want to, be better at this or whatever." So, some things we don't get because we don't even engage it.
I, um, I think it is impossible unless we are soulless, completely toxic beings. I think it is impossible to leave a space like this with the knowledge that gets spit out here, um, and treat people like trash.
Right.
I think it is
Woo! Go
impossible
for it.
for us to get off of this show and argue with our mate, or yell at the kids or cuss out, your sister.
Mm.
I don't think it's possible um, to leave an environment where we are being authentic and sharing love and imparting that wisdom, and it's not life changing.
Mm.
How? How do you walk away? How do you walk away from this table, you know, without being enlightened, without being aligned, without being, uh, without your vibration being set higher, like you just mentioned? I don't think you can do that, So being in this space, I think it opens an avenue for all of us. Those that are sharing, those that are watching, those that are reading and catching the replay. It opens an avenue for us to grow and develop and become those conduits of
Come
change,
on, conduit.
of change that needs to happen. We're vessels, we're pouring out. So,
Conduits. Conduits. This is the conduits.
terrible. But we're pouring out so much, in this space that you cannot not gain something. You cannot
Hmm.
not walk away better. You can't. You can't. It's too much that's happening here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I guess we just choose not to listen, maybe.
That's the thing. And if you do, that's why I say you either completely soulless or completely toxic, or you are so full of reactionary juices that's all you do. um we have to unlearn so many
Mm-hmm.
things to get to this point where we can share this type of wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
based on who I was 10 years ago, baby. Back, it's so much stuff that I have stepped up and walked. You got to walk away from over there in order to see this stuff and really
Hmm.
align yourself and really allow yourself to be enlightened. First of all, being aware enough to know that you you need to do better. That's a whole nother
Hmm.
thing. Do you even know that you need
Do
to do
you even know?
better?
And
Recognize.
are you willing to, yeah, are you willing
And
to
the
recognize?
willingness goes back to
Right.
what we are willing to do. Do we got a bunch of deal breakers? Are we really going to be compassionate, engaged, and authentic people in our relationships? Are we going to choose to do that, or are we going to choose to keep eating the same garbage and keep spitting out the same venom that we are inputting into these spaces? Which one?
Which I think is the real reason. Like, y'all know I'm sorry. Which I think is the real reason our relationships are failing. Like that, our relationships fail with people is that
We
we're not.
choose not.
It's we're choosing some. A lot of this is we're choosing not to input the qualities in relationships that cause them to thrive. Our focus is at least to me, it seems like our focus shifts to something else more individual in a way that's damaging to a collective relationship, that's damaging to relationships. All of the talk right now that we hear again, and I sent you guys a post earlier this week, and it's like, I'm not saying that people shouldn't be happy. All right. But there is so much stock put on being happy that we're not seeing where it's ruining a lot of relations, like it's ruining our relationship. It's not happiness that's ruining the relationship. It's how we're viewing these things. We don't realize, again, one, happiness is situational, it's fleeting, or whatever. And a lot of times people are unhappy because you're not fulfilling your purpose, not because the relationship you're in ain't the right one. It may be because you didn't got, as people keep saying, that they got lost in a relationship. Well, the way we get lost in our relationships is because we stopped being ourselves, and we became now whatever role, that title of whatever that role is that you're playing, mom, wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, and then we start doing what we think you're supposed to do as this person's boyfriend, girlfriend, instead of just showing up as you, with the recognition that, yes, this is my significant other, so there are certain things I do with them that I don't do with others, whatever. But it's just a lot of the talk that I'm hearing with people are unhappy, and I realized I was unhappy, so I just left the relationship. Listen, some of those people leave,
if you said
but some of those people leave those relationships and they're still unhappy because it's like, it wasn't the relationship per se. You're unhappy with you. So did you get rid of all your friends?
Or people want to move. I think it's time. I think it's time for a change of scenery. It's time for a change of scenery. Yeah, it's time to shift. It's time to no.
But when it's at the expense of other people, you should really be questioning your desire to jump.
We don't question desires. No. Don't ever question. Don't ever. It can never. The culprit for the failing of my relationship can never be my desire.
Houseway.
Even though our desire, and again, this is not saying people don't have moments where it's like, man, I feel like I want to do a shift. I want to move to another city. I want to, I want to do. I'm not saying that like that doesn't happen. We should be able to kind of navigate those things if we want to. But some of this stuff is like we're ripping each other's hearts out as we're doing it.
And all in the name at the expense of other people.
Yeah, it's like all in the name of finding myself. Is that how you found it? Like, is that what you found of you? That even in the midst of, I don't know. I feel like there's parts of the conversation sometimes that's never had, like the whole desire piece. So you never question the desire? You think that every desire that comes to you is going to be relationally sound? It don't work that way.
But do you think that people truly have the bandwidth for that to even process?
Absolutely not.
If you make him spit out water, what about that?
No. That goes back to you even being aware that you have a problem. And we've touched on narcissists and narcissistic abuse. We've touched on people with personality disorders. We've touched on people who come from these toxic families and dysfunctional backgrounds. No, most people who have experienced those types of experiences have no idea that they are doing something wrong, and they continue to live and leave a trail of collateral damage everywhere they go.
I mean, because they legit do not know. They don't know.
No.
How do you help people like that? How do you help people who are just totally unaware that there needs to be a change, some type of deliverance within their soul? How do you help people see and grasp that?
I think the first way you do it, of course, is going to be the obvious. You live it. You live it intentionally live it among them. Listen, and y'all done picked it up. I am. I try to teach with my life, with
Mm-hmm.
my posts,
Mm-hmm.
with everything I say, everything that I kind of bring out. I try to shine a little bit of light for it. For because again, we shine light in places that's dark, right? So, or that would be equivalent to people who just don't see it. They don't get it. They don't whatever. At some point, I think, but it still has to be done within the. It still has to be done within the character of what it is we're talking about. So it's like I have to graciously come to your heart. I can't just be like, you just dirty. You just a nasty, dirty, stinking, whatever. Some kind of way I have to get
You
you to
ain't
go
nothing but a
from
heifer. Ha, ha,
nothing.
ha.
I gotta get you
I
some kind of
just
way. I
really
gotta
felt
get
that.
you. You felt it in your
Yeah.
spirit.
Mm-hmm. My
Some
chakra.
kind of way I gotta get you to go from here to here.
But
And
it's
how do I
so
do
much
that? That is
interference.
exhausting.
It's
It's a
so much
lot of interference.
interference in between.
And there
It's
are
a lot
some
of interference.
times where in that in between, you got to remove yourself
Mm-hmm.
for your own safety and your own well being and your own mental health. There are some times where you might have to, after sharing and after being compassionate and after, expressing those things in love and them not being received, there are times when you must bid someone adieu.
And I think that if
And
you do that, you should explain to them that you're doing it. Because that may be the light. Now you may be gone, but that may be the thing. I'm running
right,
separation and divorce groups and different things like that. And the things that I'm hearing people say is kind of like, yeah, first they didn't realize it while they were there or in the
hmm
thick of the situation. It wasn't until sometimes somebody said, "Listen, I'm leaving," and then now they have to, But I think that explanations. I think again, and it's not. This may not be the same thing for everybody. It's like, but I think the explanations are important. Listen, I have to go because what you're doing right here,
Mm-hmm.
it's harmful.
this 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 is harmful. And me saying, and this is just me, even me leaving, if I'm gonna leave right now, like I have to bid my due, like you said,
Be it
I'm
my due.
doing this. I'm doing this out of. I'm actually, and I'm truly actually doing this out of my love for you.
For you. Absolutely.
That's it.
Do you know
That's
what I
it.
mean? And that may be a hard part for
That's
people to kind
it.
of grab. It's like, no, I'm not just leaving because I'm protecting my head,
Yeah,
Yes.
no, you
my
leave
head.
me. You hurt
I'm
me.
leaving
You hurt
because
me.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's
I'm
like I'm
really
leaving because
helping you.
I'm. Yes, it's like I'm leaving because I am actually helping you, and I don't know if everybody can tap into that to actually be like, no, because for whatever reason I'm being some type of enabler for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So maybe I need to go, and that's hurtful. Like if even if you're ever in that situation where it's like, you know what, fine,
Mm-hmm.
I'll just go on and go because what you're showing me is you don't want to be in relationship with me.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's it. And
Let's
there's
And
sometimes
also
maybe a light will come on, maybe it won't. Maybe they'll
maybe
just like, okay, you know.
maybe they'll do better with the next one.
right, right.
But I'm
Because
gonna
I just want you to
bid
be
you due.
whole.
I'm gonna
Or
bid you due.
I'm gonna be at my due. But I really, at the end of the day, I want you to be whole and I want you to be healed. Not for me. It might not happen during my season with you, but for you, so that the rest of your life can be peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
Because if not, you got a long journey, baby. Tamika says,
Ooh-wee.
I believe people mislead their own selves, trick their mind into thinking I have someone, I'm not alone, don't want to be alone. You have to be happy with yourself. You have to know that you are worth more potential than settling. Some people stay hoping for change. They take the abuse, backlash, and the put downs, not really realizing you're in the way. Move and let God work.
Hmm,
Thank you, Miss Buchanan.
Thank you.
hmm.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of people who would rather be in an unhealthy relationship than not be in a relationship at
That
all.
is so true.
Yes,
And they're
yes.
hoping,
I've been there.
yeah.
I've been there, and have it to some degree now because I have such a huge fear of abandonment.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I don't want to be abandoned, and I don't want to be by myself. I don't want to be by myself. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the awareness of that, I did a post the other day, and I was like, we have to be honest with ourselves
Mm-hmm.
about whatever. And when you become honest with yourself about certain things like that, you are actually positioned a little bit better to be able to navigate it, and it could save your relationship
Mm-hmm.
instead of just having to just end it. I know I'm afraid of abandonment.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that at the same time, there's things I have to do that's scary, like speak up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, the temptation is don't say nothing because you don't want to lose you don't want to lose the relationship, and you'd rather have this relationship than no relationship at all. That is a real temptation that kind of comes, whatever. But then that other part has to kick in and say, okay, I see it, I see that it's there, but I'm not going to act from that. I'm going to respond from wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
actual real wisdom in this way. But that is real. Sometimes people would rather be in a real negative attention. They used to say negative attention is better than no attention.
Any attention is better
There
than
is
no
something about when we think about even just things in relation. One of the hardest things in relationship is not it's not the well, love is would seem like it's the greatest, right? Hate would seem like it's the worst, but that's not even that bad. What's worse than the hate in a relationship is indifference. When
say that say
I
that
feel
loud and
nothing for
again.
I am indifferent regarding you, period. That says you're insignificant.
Mm. I can
That's
take you or
different
leave
than
you.
hate.
I
I
can
can.
take you or leave you.
I'd rather you hate me than for me to be just completely insignificant. God dog it.
Yeah, because at least you feel something. At
Yeah,
least you feel something.
So I don't know. I think, but it's like these are things that people really truly face and they really go through, and everybody tries to pop their, pop their I'm strong collars, and we ain't as strong. Ain't no man. We are not as strong. We are not as strong as I'm seeing everybody trying to flex.
Listen,
Mm-hmm.
We also ain't that spiritual either. Oh well, this
no,
relationship
no, we
broke up
not.
because
Let me tell you
God
something.
had something better for me. You
What?
ain't never paid no attention to what God had for you. Now all of a
Not
sudden
I'm
you
wait.
feel like
I'm
God.
waiting on my Boaz.
no, you ain't. You
Waiting on my Ruth.
ain't. No, no. It's
God got
it's
something better. This wasn't
no.
meant to be.
Uh,
When did you ever learn what was meant to be meant? Yeah, folks.
you need to take your garbage out every day. But you gonna commit to
We ain't
this.
as strong as we like to try to present that we
We
Mm-hmm.
not,
are.
and you know what? That's
I'm
a
just saying.
reality that most people are not willing to sit with and reflect. I
And it's
remember.
why we can't heal.
Listen, I remember at the height of my indifference
Mm.
Mm.
in a whole serious committed relationship and hoping a ring would get put on my finger and mad every holiday when the ring didn't show up. I was still in three other relationships. And it's something to think about. It's like, are you really honest? Is this what you really want? You mad because you don't have this, and yet you ain't faithful over here,
Woo.
baby, sitting in church every Sunday,
Player,
writing
player.
writing his initials on the offering envelope. Come on, baby. You trying to pray and sow seed and all kinds of stuff, and got other people. You don't answer, next caller. You don't answer, next call. Hey, what you doing? It was too much.
Mm.
Too much. Do you really know who you are? Are
That's
you
what it
for
boils down to.
are you for the streets?
Mhm.
Because it's a whole lot of people that think they for marriage and they really for the streets.
Mm.
Woo woo.
And the
Mm.
reality is, when you don't know what you want and you have become accustomed to dysfunction.
Yes. This you finna say
Eager,
something. You finna say
eager, but
something.
not prepared.
There
Come
you
on
go.
now.
You have become accustomed to dysfunction. What was my thing? Everything that feel good becomes your desire. And just because it feel good does not mean it is expedient for your soul.
Expedient.
Ooh,
It's not.
Expedient.
It's
help us
if
today.
it's good today. It's fun for right
Help
now.
us.
It's
Help
fun for
us.
right now. And
I
then
be
come
guilty.
Friday, when
I
you
be
wrapping
guilty.
up
Oh,
Christmas gifts and you thinking about is this the year I'm gonna get a ring? No, it ain't gonna get no ring. If you got a ring, you wouldn't know what to do with it while you waiting on
whoa.
your Boaz, and
What's in your glass?
following everybody's posts and all these black love pages and praying when it's gonna be my turn, Lord. When you stop sleeping with 5 people, then it might be your
What's
turn.
what's in that martini glass?
I just want to know. Let me know something. Let me know. I knew it was too much from the beginning. It was too much
Mm,
when she first turned her camera on. I knew, Lee. I wasn't. I
mm.
knew. I
Just
knew
saying.
this wasn't gonna be regular
I'm just
schmegula.
telling the truth, because and folks don't want to tell the truth about themselves. I remember being bent out of shape. I remember weeping on that same couch. I remember weeping over somebody that I wasn't even with, and I was with somebody else. Come on now, it's too much. When are we really gonna look in? What my mirror? When we gonna look in the mirror and
Mm,
act like we know who we are, sis? Really?
mm.
Who are you
Mirror,
waiting for?
mirror on the wall. Who being the fakest
Of the
of them
Of
all?
mouth.
them all.
Come on.
How you mad at him? How you mad at her? When you out here in these situationships, okay, and you're supposed you're praying for faithfulness, but you fake as hell.
What do we think? What do y'all think? What? And I'm not. I guess I'm not just talking about romantic relationships, but I kind of am in this context because those are the ones that we really choose and pick, right? Um, what is it that people want? What do we really believe the purpose of a relationship is? Do we
To
think
not be
that it is
alone.
just well, I mean, but that can go
For most
that
people,
is a
that's what
good
it is, to
reason.
not be alone.
That's a good
Which
reason though.
means if I'm in a relationship and I feel alone, then I need to add another relationship to this relationship to make up for your deficit.
Your deficit.
Is that not what we doing? I need to
Let me
be
see it.
entertained at all times.
Let me see your
And if
glass.
you are
Let
not
me
fully
see.
entertaining me,
Right.
And
then I
that's the
need some
thing,
I
because
need some
even the
outside
idea,
entertainment.
of saying, to not be
But
alone, that's
what are
actually a
you
good
lacking
reason
to
for a
where
relationship.
that you feel you need to be entertained all the time? What are you
That's a
lacking in
great
here?
question. Because people
I
who
think
don't know how
that's
to
it.
be with themselves and enjoy their own company. Because when you sit with yourself long enough and you figure out how dirty you really are and how bad you've actually treated people, you don't like what it feel like. And if it don't feel good, we don't want it. That's
I
that.
just, I just really wonder what we're doing with them because they've become so much more accessories. Our relationships just seem to be more like
Ooh,
an accessory,
accessories. Because it's
and
not
it's
a
like, and then
necessity.
yeah, and it's like it's not the very. We're trying to pull the. How can I put? Instead of it being the fabric of our heart, it's just the garments that we put on for a
Come
season
on.
or for a while. It's
Come
like, and I don't think that
on.
that's really the heart of it. I was in the shower the other week, and I was just sitting thinking, and it's like God was just telling me like the
Is that the
relationship
last time you
is
did
not just. Yeah, it was weeks ago before I've been in the shower, child.
Mhm.
No, but it was like
that?
DNA. Your DNA is relationship. Like it's not even just that this is something that we would like. This is you all's very DNA. And then if you start to go study DNA, you'll look and say it's relationship. The
But
whole way
that's
this
the
is
thing
this
we
is
are
woven
rejecting.
in who we are.
We
It
reject
is. It's like
that.
we're rejecting it, and now we're trading that for I just need somebody that's gonna make me happy. I
Entertainment
just need somebody that's going to tickle my fancy.
and
I just
And
need
accessories.
somebody
it's
that's
all my,
it's all
my,
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 and I don't
my,
think
my.
like she was saying that the thing of being alone. I think that's a great reason to be in relationships. That's why we have them. It's not good that we're alone, right? But what does that fully mean? And I think that
Mm-hmm.
that's what people don't, whatever, because like Angel said, like how you going, for a lot of people, it's just, oh, that means I just need somebody to entertain me. I need you to be able to
Mm-hmm.
keep me smiling and keep me laughing the whole time. I need somebody that's gonna, do this is that for me.
And
And
that
we
ain't what I'm
never
saying.
truly align. Right. And we never truly align to those very things that we're saying we need somebody else to be. We never align to it ourselves. You are supposed, you want to talk about equal relationships. I'm gonna say this, and I know this is gonna get a lot of tomatoes or whatever. When people do this whole, even the man and the woman thing, we are to show up equally. Now, what I mean by equally, I'm not saying that, yes, they say, the woman is a weaker vessel and blah, 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 blah,
You
blah,
saying I
blah,
got to
blah.
carry my own groceries
What?
and pump my
No,
own
not
gas?
even necessarily saying the logistics of, not even necessarily saying the logistics of those things like that, because you can still be chivalrous. But what we should be showing up as, we say, oh, men are protectors. Guess what? Women are too. If we go with creation story, this is for those that believe in creationism.
Let me
When
serve.
God said, when God said, let us make man in our image, he made Adam, right? Blah, 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 blah. Looked around, Adam had nobody like him. He says, not good that man be alone. I will make for him a helper. And Ezer,
All one.
and Ezer Kenegdo, right? That's what the word helper translates to, which literally translates to the words lifesaver. Now, this was Eve that was being created, a woman coming in to be a lifesaver to a man
Helping his
in the
meat.
ways that we kind of use this whatever. She
Here
is
we
equal
here we
in
go.
provision,
Here we go.
equal in provision, equal in power, equal in presence, and equal in protection.
Mm.
But that's not taught that way. So then now we have, because we're thinking of the logistics, the logistical details. There's different ways that you may be a protector, but you are still a protector. You know what I mean? So it's like, but we're not coming into relationships to show up like that. We're coming in to get our pleasure.
To get our pleasure. All right.
And whatever form that's wrapped in. And it's not just sexual, it's whatever,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
however, having
mm-hmm.
your ego stroked, not feeling
Having your
Ooh, talk
bills
alone,
about the
paid,
ego. Baby.
having your bills paid,
having your
having,
bills paid.
having somebody to serve you in that way that, it,
Mm-hmm.
it's all that. It's all that. It's all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that there's anything wrong with those things. I just think that sometimes our focus ends up being only on that. So now we will miss our, I think women always talk about Boaz or whatever. We will miss who's for us because we're looking for this list, man. And we
Got
and
back to
and the
that
list
list.
is
Back
the
to that
list is
list,
a
yeah.
list of entertainment spots. It's not really a list of saying no, 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 no. This is actually what we need to thrive. This is what we need to be a healthy relationship. No, we got stuff on there. I need somebody that drinks Alizé. Nah, I need somebody that drinks wine, that sips wine. I want a wine type of
People still
person.
drink
Who
Alizé.
out here still
I
drinking
don't know.
Alice?
That was
I
my
don't know.
first
It's
snuff to
like
the party
grammar
drink.
school. You better
I
go
drink
back to eighth grade.
I drink
Mm.
Fiji water.
The artesian
Mm-hmm.
water.
I
So
wanna I want to shout out everybody who's tuning in. Thank you for chatting with us and catching up on the show with the dynamic duo Angel Simmons and LeAnzar Stockley. Tamika and I'm Bryson. And Tamika said that some people can't and won't look in the mirror because of the real harsh reality of themselves or the situation. Because if you look in that mirror, that mug is gonna
It was
break.
it
listen.
will.
It's gonna shatter.
Listen, I've
And
had some tears in the mirror about me.
you know
Mm-hmm.
what? I really think
Mm-hmm.
that's what the pandemic was a mirror for a lot of people. And if you could not stand yourself before we were on lockdown, pity the fool who was stuck at the house and it was
Mm.
just you there. Because that pandemic lockdown had you by yourself with yourself entertaining yourself and scared to have anybody else come in the house and entertain you. So you
Mm-hmm.
had to. You if they wasn't already there, they wasn't getting in.
Mm-hmm.
You had to Learn how to enjoy your own company. Face
Well,
your own
okay,
demons.
I'm gonna be
Hey, yep,
quiet.
and,
Listen
yep.
to them voices in your head. What are they actually saying? You know, you had to become one with yourself
Mm-hmm.
because it was so much awareness. There was nothing else to do other than be with you. And if you can't stand being with you, how you think the rest of us been feeling all this time?
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a reality. To realize you don't like yourself, and oh my God, these people have been putting up with me. If that wasn't a revelation, I don't know what was.
Hmm.
But for those of us who enjoy our company and our solitude and a long time, it was a blessing. Was it not? It was
Facts.
a blessing. I wasn't trying to go outside no way. I just
Mm-hmm.
started going back outside.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag
You know,
hashtag
and can't
facts.
wait to get back home.
I know I get mad because there's so many people outside.
Mad. I went to Sam's Club on a Sunday
Where's y'all out?
afternoon.
Y'all got houses? No.
Don't y'all
People,
got jobs?
people. Y'all in
Right.
that church? People. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. What she say? Yeah. Mm.
Voices are dormant. That's a good
Yes.
thing.
Yes. Hey, Merrick. Where you been, Merrick? We missed you last time. Listen,
Merc.
yeah, on the sun. I don't know what I was thinking. I wanted one of them little chickens in the box.
Chickens in the box.
I needed one of them little chickens. Of course, I had a cart full of stuff, but I needed one of them little
Mm-hmm.
chickens. So that was that.
Merrick, you
Yeah,
missed a whole lot. We've been
baby.
recapping. We've been recapping
I'ma
review.
just
This is the year in review.
mm,
So we've
mm.
been talking about the shows that stood
You
out to
missed a bunch of
us.
stuff.
We are currently talking about a whole bunch of stuff, relationships and being aware and being accountable and what are you truly searching for when you're searching for in that relationship, or what are you truly trying to grow or secure while you're in that relationship.
Mm,
um
grow insecure.
what's the purpose of your relationship if you're in one
Mm-hmm.
or seeking one? What is the purpose?
You know, I think
Because
that's a
I'm
hard
telling
question
you
for a
this,
lot of people.
it
Because
is a lot. It's a hard
we
question for a lot
we
of people.
ain't getting
There's
in relationship to procreate no more.
and well, you know,
Some folk, but after 40, you
to
know,
procreate
that
to procreate anything,
uh,
like not even just children. We're
Mm,
not getting in it to procreate anything
come
at this
on.
point. We're not even getting in it to continue love.
Oh,
We're
ooh,
getting in it to
ooh.
be, what has happened is somewhere we have turned inward and not in the healthy inward. We've turned inward, so we're looking at ourselves and everything in our relationship we wanted to serve ourselves. We've lost whatever it is that says you're a community of people. There's a space where you need to serve the community of people around you. Ubuntu, we think about the Ubuntu philosophy where it says, I am because we are. Or even it goes into saying, I'm a person because of you
mm-hmm.
to a certain degree. We don't want that kind of stuff. We want whatever is going to serve me. And I'm not saying people shouldn't be served. I'm saying we all should be being served in our relationships, in the relationships that we have, and not served in a master kind of way, but served in an honor kind of way. I count it an honor and a privilege, honestly, for y'all to be able to be my friend. See what I did there?
I see what you did there. I see what you did there, Robin.
No, but I generally do. I genuinely do. I count it an honor when I look at people who I name to say this is my friend. These are my. There's nothing I wouldn't do for you
And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
It means
that
something
I
else.
can. You know what I mean?
It
Go
means
ahead.
something else saying it today because some folks I called friend 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they ain't on that list no more. So the list, the older I get, the smaller that list gets of folk I'm gonna call my friend. And that's hefty, you know, and I think it comes with a hefty price. There's a responsibility and an accountability that goes along with being somebody's friend. So you calling me your friend, that means I gotta do something. It's not
Mm-hmm.
it's not a passive title. right?
Mm-hmm.
This is an active assignment. And that's
Uh-oh.
one thing people don't understand, even in these love relationships. It is an active assignment. You need to be constantly aligning to this person and what y'all doing and which way you going. And if you ain't going nowhere, my girl say dormant. If it's dormant, the path is dormant. You are.
But if we think our relationships are only just to keep us happy, then doesn't am I the only person that feel like that can be one of the reasons that is such a roadblock? Because
It
if
is.
we're approaching it from the idea that this the only reason for being in this relationship is either to make babies
Or get
or
married.
get married or just so that somebody can keep me happy, like it seems like the purpose is off.
Mm-hmm.
And if we understood the purpose of relationships, I think, or if we wanted the purpose, if we were willing enough to understand what is the real purpose of a relationship, let's not even say your relationship that you want. What is the real purpose of relationship? And then we go into our friendships, our family, or whatever with real purpose in our hearts. Again, it sounds very like you're saying you don't get nothing you like. I'm not saying that. You know, you don't get nothing you want, or you don't get to choose a person, or you don't get to. We're not saying that, and people mind go to that, which shows me that that's where our minds are. It shows me that that's where our heart is. Our heart is really still more so on, am I gonna get some cookies?
Mm.
Because if I ain't gonna get no cookies, I'm
Why am I
so
here?
right. So now all of me developing skills to be a better relational person, me becoming the better me is all just to manipulate somebody to give me a cookie.
What kind of cookies, sir?
Or some cookie.
This is an Oreo thin
Lemon.
lemon. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So
What I
it's like,
gotta
but
do
if
to get
all
the
of
cookies?
if listen, so if all of my doing is coming from me just trying to get you to entertain me, or me trying to make it, something's not right. This should be something that's at the very core of our being, saying, listen, I want to align in life because that's how I want to show up. This is how I want to show up. This is who I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I hope that the people who decide to come into circle with me
Want to be that
want to
too.
be that too. And we
Mm-hmm.
gonna miss it. And we also got to go in and understand that we gonna miss it. We gonna mess up some days. Like, it's like, I'm gonna step on your toe one day, or one day I'm gonna be in a mood, and it's just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Is that a reason to abandon? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, no, we
Right.
have to
Where's your
really
where's your
go into,
grace?
yes. It's like all of these things have to really
Mm.
come into play with this. And I really feel like we got to get back to some of what the
Mhm.
real purpose is for relationships.
Yes, sir.
And if we don't, this is going to keep going in the direction of, I mean, literally, y'all, we're going to look up one day and
That we got a bunch of
that,
comments.
oh, oh,
We do.
I love y'all. I'm
Um,
if I fall.
folks are agreeing, everybody basically is agreeing that people don't want to be alone, hence their response. Um, Merrick states that it's supposed to be me bringing my 100% to meet up with your 100%, and we flourish and conquer the world. He refers to a time when he was talking with someone yesterday, and they mentioned something that their former partner did, but really didn't do, and that sealed the deal for them. That's so crazy because I was talking to someone this weekend where the same situation happened.
Mhm.
Tamika says, my list of friends is only a quarter page. I'm not accepting any more applications.
Hashtag no new friends.
Uh, I'm sad. I'm sad, Tamika. I was going to submit my application at the end of my work when my work was over. Merrick says also that
I
I'm all
want some
for
new ones.
working together to make things happen. If we're together and I've shared my goals with you and you have the means for helping that and for helping that happen and you continue to make things stressful, then it's time to bounce because my peace is non-negotiable.
Whoo, there go that list.
Um, and then Tamika says again, let's not pay too much attention to what you be and make light of who God wants you to be.
Mm.
Y'all dropping these gems. Oh, you making an exception for
Uh-oh,
me?
uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh,
Hey,
uh-oh.
thank you. I love it.
Oh,
Nice.
Whatever. I'm
we
just playing.
just rude.
Just a
He just
hater.
rude.
Just
I'm
a
just
He
saying.
just
hater. Just
he
a
I'm just
just
hater.
saying.
rude.
So I
I'm a
mean,
lover,
this.
not a fighter.
I'm done. I think these are all very relevant statements from conscious folks. It appears to be, and I guess if everybody else was so conscious, we'd be all right. Merrick says,
I want to.
it,
Oh,
"Huh."
go ahead. Go
Let
ahead.
me read. Let me read Merrick's example. If my goal is to be financially debt free in order to start shopping for a home, and I want to pay off my student loan or pay off my car note, and I only have 2K left, but you are sitting on 5K getting stamps plus stimulus money and just watching me try to pay my bills by myself, get out of here.
Well, actually, he
It's
said
a
get the.
lot.
Oh, okay.
It's it's a lot, Merrick. That's a
He
lot.
actually said get
And
the.
somebody would ask the question: is this person gonna be in the house with you? Is
Mm.
this a friend or is this a partner? Because what is their investment in sharing they 5K and they stamps?
You could at least let me get some link though. You could have like you didn't make that. That's free money. You could at least let me get some link. If you ain't gonna help me
Let me
with the
get some
rest,
link.
you could at least let me save these couple $100 a month to go to the grocery store.
Well, you're
Now
over here eating anyway
you're
every
over here
night.
eating anyway.
Can we all eat together? Can I get some scrimps and cake?
I want to say this though, like I don't think that getting in a relationship, I don't think that relationships, like people pursuing relationships because they don't want to be alone, is a bad thing. I really don't. Like I think it can become a bad thing if you're just grabbing for anything. But I don't think that the desire to want to be in a relationship because you don't want to be alone is a bad thing. Because again, if we go to creation story, that's the whole reason Eve was created. It was so that you're not alone. We're not designed to be alone. Now that doesn't mean you got to go get a boo thing, but we're not designed to be alone. That's nature. That's natural. So I want to be in a relationship because I'm not designed to be alone. I'm not designed to be by myself, and I don't want to be by myself, or be alone to myself. So I don't think that that's a bad reason. I think it can get bad when, again, like I said, you're just doing stuff because you don't want to be alone, or you're accepting all types of behavior, you're accepting all kind of things from whatever. It can become kind of bad, and even in that, like we're saying, accepting all kind of behavior, we can't control people at the end
Sure,
of the
okay.
day. Now you can control whether I'm gonna get up and leave or whether I'm gonna tolerate it and deal with it. I deal with a lot more than most people deal with, you know. But it's like, but I do know how to walk away, and when I'm done, I'm done. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So it's kind of like one of those things that I'm still working on that because I don't. This is me. This is my own personal conviction. I don't believe that I need to be that way. I genuinely see myself one with God, and I don't believe that God walks away from any of us.
Right,
I
Mm.
do believe
right.
that He'll sit silent,
And
but I
be
don't
sitting
believe that.
just like that.
Oh, and just be
And
sitting like, were you
and be
done yet?
saying to himself, "You damn fool." That's what he
You,
be saying. Looking at us down here cutting
yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah,
Damn
yeah.
Ooh,
fools.
my.
But I really feel like the whole thing of we don't want to be alone. I think that that's natural. That's that when because I point to look at nature, our nature, who we are. Yeah, that we probably should feel that way. I don't want to be alone. And again, like I said, it don't have to be a boo thing. That could be, if it's just I need a friend. I don't want a significant other. I
I
just want
think
somebody
that's the
that's my
thing that
friend.
people miss. People miss that. I mean, not you not being alone doesn't necessarily mean you're in a romantic relationship. But we're not taught, just like we're not taught how to be good partners. We're not taught how to be good friends either.
We're not. And one of my friends asked me, why a friendship retreat, friend? Because I would try to do the friendship. I said, we need them. We need them. Like you trying to have a romantic relationship and you don't even know how to be a friend. I didn't say
Hmm.
this to that friend, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying like that's the idea. It's the concept like we need friends, and y'all. Am I the only person that has felt a level of unfulfillment in your relationships, even friendships?
Especially
It's
friends.
because we don't.
Especially
It's because
friendships.
we're,
Yep.
yeah. It's like it's because we're not getting to really know
Mm-hmm.
each other. And I'm not talking again. I'm not talking about know each other in the sense of I've drawn my own theory of you,
Mm-hmm.
but the questions of Brysen, who are you to you?
Hmm.
And and can I believe you when you tell me that?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And actually connect with you on there, like that's my friend Bride. She's such and such. She sees herself as this, that, and the other. And I respond to her based on who she's told me that she is. We usually only say when somebody, tell you who they are, believe them in a negative way.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
Mm-hmm.
some of the thing with like our conversations. Do I believe you when you're talking to me?
Mm-hmm.
When you say when we get closeness, I did a video the other day and I said the antidote to loneliness is not company. It's not company and it's not the self. Just love yourself and just whatever. Baby, bye. Listen, the antidote to loneliness is going to be closeness and connection.
Mm-hmm.
When you're with other people, do you actually, there's moments and people talk about, I talk about being an introvert and this is that and the other. There are times when I'm with a bunch of other people, but I feel worse than I would by myself
That
because
part.
it's just because sometimes it's just, I don't do good at small talk. So the conversations aren't fueling
Mm-hmm.
necessarily. They're not
Mm-hmm.
fueling deep
They're not
connection
engaging.
and closeness. Yeah, it's kind of just
Mm-hmm.
like, how's the weather? And again, not
Mm-hmm.
saying we don't ever ask that question, but it's like, how's the weather? But do you know me? To be loved, seen, and known is the reasons that we can, that's how we remedy, I think, loneliness. This is one of the reasons why I had no choice to me, but to become more transparent. I can't say nobody loves me if nobody knows me. So you have to put your, and that's a vulnerable position.
Yeah.
I think in most cases, I hold my friendships to a higher level of accountability than I actually have any romantic interest or relationship or situationship I've ever had. Because we all know what it's like, and we've all felt the disappointment of love interests and breakups and all of that. But your friends, are supposed to be a constant. So I think I've always held those relationships
Friend loves at
in
all
a
times.
higher regard than I have with somebody I was with.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't know if
Um.
anybody else
I hold friendship very deeply too. Like
Oh no,
it's a
same
very,
all the way across the board.
but I also want my partner to be my friend.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind
I
of,
would like
but
that,
yeah,
but a lot
yeah.
of I guess more often these days, our partners don't start off as friends. I feel
Well,
like we
yeah,
did
and I guess
that.
because of
I
the way
feel
you
like
go
we
about
did
it.
that, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I don't think we're doing that now. But whereas somebody that was a friend that, becomes more, I think we go straight to more.
You go
Do we have
straight
a
to
hard
more,
time?
and
Do you
you
think we have a
expect.
hard time? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Bryce.
No, I'm so no. I was just saying we go straight to more. We go 0 to 100 because to my point before on one of these other shows, um, people want it real quick. They want it right now. They want it microwave style, um, and they don't want to take the journey into the relationship. Into the connection, which starts with the friendship, getting to know me, getting to know you, likes, dislikes, whatever the case may be. But everybody wants microwave.
Yeah.
Mm, mm.
I remember somebody told me that once, you know, we were going to be friends first. And then the very next time I visited, trying to get me to spend the night, um, that really didn't add up.
Question. The
Did you spend the
question though
night
is, did
though?
you spend the
That
night?
didn't
Yeah, did you spend the night?
the
That's what
third
we want to
time,
know.
not the second time, but
Right.
the
The
third
second time, right?
time.
Yeah,
But no,
You know
now
what
we're
I'm
on the
it
same
saying?
didn't
Because I
page.
was
really
like,
add up.
well, did you
Right.
spend the night
Did
though?
you
Like, I
spend the
mean, did you
night
spend the
though?
night?
Not
I
that
mean, don't
time.
pass up no good
Oh,
behavior.
okay.
Time after
No,
that.
good night.
Mm-hmm.
But that was it didn't really
Mm-hmm.
work out. It didn't work
It
out.
ain't
Do you
work
think that
out.
people have a hard time? That we have a hard time balancing the two, or like having a friend that you like? Like, do you think? See, for me, it's a little different because maybe because I'm demisexual, so it's like I kind of even for the sexual part for me to kick on, I have to have a certain type of bond anyway
Mm-hmm.
with this person with people. So it's like I feel like it's a little different maybe for me sometimes than maybe other people. That's just kind of like but like, is it a hard time balancing the two? Um, I don't know. Like
I haven't.
when
I
you know
haven't.
that this is your friend, but you do want to do life with them. I think somebody mentioned we have to put these comments up. Somebody mentioned something like somebody to do life with. It's like you actually want to do life with this particular friend. Like you're my friend, but I actually really want to do life with you. Like and part of that includes the sex part of life with you,
Mm-hmm.
the significant other part of life with you. But I
Mm-hmm.
recognize the core part of you is like, man, you're a really good person. You're a really good friend.
It's
And
been
I just
Because I think you have to be attracted to your friends. It doesn't always have to be sexually.
I do, yeah,
I
yep.
think
There's
I
still
carry,
attraction there.
an attraction, to all of my friends for certain reasons
Mm-hmm.
based on who they are,
yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
how the type of friend that they are to me, and how we share, our friendship. Let
Mm-hmm.
me these folks is talking. Let me
Good. Y'all can come on screen too. Y'all know.
y'all can come on screen too. Yeah, man. If anybody is comfortable and you want to be put on, let's go. Merrick
We
said
got
his
a link
pastor
for you.
preached something today. He talked about lying and how when someone lies, it attacks your expectation and it
Mm.
attacks your hope. Tamika said zero prison. I'm still working on that. As far as I want to do life with you, do
Oh.
life with somebody. Zero prison. I like that. Rashana says these days people use sex as a way of saying hi.
Mm.
Rashana, come right here so I can poke you.
Mm. Mm.
People use sex as a way of saying hi.
Ooh, they
But
ready
if we
to
Mm.
went
run
back
this
to
one.
establishing a friendship first, we would have some potential hurt and
We would
trauma.
save.
I'm sorry.
Not they use sex as a way to say hi.
Yes,
Hi.
yes,
Ooh.
yes. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it again for the people in the back.
Hi.
These days, people use sex as a way of saying hi. But if we went back to
Hi.
establishing a friendship first, we would save some potential hurt and trauma. You have said it. The doors of the church
No.
are open. Is there one?
Oh my goodness.
Reverend Rashana, let's go.
Yeah.
Um, Merrick said to piggyback off what his pastor said, he also added for us to connect your life with people who can handle the real you, whether romantically or platonically. All right, shout out to the pastor. Um, you tiptoeing on his room. Shit, Tamika, your hair ain't done. That's okay. We don't care.
My hair ain't done.
Oh my goodness.
Girl, I
It's been
always see you when your hair ain't done.
stop telling her business. Ain't nobody business but hers. It has been it's probably been decades since I was attracted enough to a friend that I would want to do life with them versus just, maybe something else. But it's been decade. It's been, over a decade. I have always experienced guy friends who acted like they were just guy friends and then eventually, tried to cross the line or throw out some comments that were inappropriate or let me know on the slide that, if you ever
Right,
wanted to blah blah. Ugh! This is
right.
gross. Gross, 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 gross. Like you can't no, no, that's not that. And it was always, them people that were in the brother role. They had
Mm-hmm.
been in the brother. You had been in the brother
Mm-hmm.
role. All this. No, we're not gonna do that. You would no, no.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been
But
decades.
would the story change though if you was attracted to them?
No,
If you were attracted to them,
no.
because what's that movie where they grew up like brothers?
Brown
Loving
sugar
is it Brysen with
or
Sanaa Lathan
the
and
Love and
basketball.
basketball.
Love and
Love and
basketball.
basketball.
That was so
weren't they
toxic.
like childhood friends? And
Yeah,
then
neighbors and everything.
Yeah, I
Went to
mm,
school
guess.
together.
And I said attracted enough to do life with him.
To do that.
I was
Okay.
specific. It's like
Mhm.
I might, it might be some things I might be interested in, but no, I don't. No, I know
No,
your
that's it.
family. I don't want them to be my in-laws. Absolutely not. No, I ain't coming over there to your house on a holiday. No, I know. I know. I done seen your mama cook. No, I know way too much about you. No, no. It's been decades since I was interested in that way. But
Mm.
even if I was attracted to him, not enough for life. Not enough for
Hmm.
life.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I get it. I get it. I just wonder though when we're looking at these relationships, though, it's like, what are we doing? Because we look at divorce rates, we look at what I'm like, y'all. Nobody sees a problem with this. Like, I mean, and we
They
talking
don't.
about divorce. We say divorce, but I include that's people who actually went the step of getting married.
Mm,
If you actually included people who never got married but they were in long-term relationships or in relationships for a while, the divorce rate the divorce rate is higher than 50%.
you got that
Right.
right.
It's like you're more pushing closer towards 80 and much higher than that
That
because
was the number I was exactly thinking. 80.
we just don't stay together. And I don't think that all of this breakup is because it was the wrong person. I'm gonna
Merrick,
eat my cookie.
Merrick, I think that this I bet you this is a personal story. Because Lee done turned to the whole side. What if you and the friend began as a hookup, became great friends, never dated or got serious just because the stars didn't align at that time? I mean, the stars was lined up at because y'all was hooking up. Y'all was seeing stars. Now you both are single, speaking one another's language, have very similar goals, and you realize what you have been looking for has been in your face the entire time.
Oh, baby, that happens.
That's a
Sometimes
lot.
we miss it. Sometimes we missed it because we was looking and not seeing.
Mm,
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 mm. Looking but
mm.
not seeing. Mm.
That's tweetable. Listen, looking but not
Looking
seeing.
but not seeing.
But
I
the other
think
person has been so hurt so many times, they are afraid to go down that road with you because they don't want to ruin the genuine friendship.
Mm.
I
Now, I'm
think we
never
have to.
worried about ruining a friendship. If it was a genuine friendship, I'm never worried about ruining a genuine friendship. But that goes back to doing life. I don't want to be connected to all the people you connected to.
I think, and see, and I think I would ask. I think I would ask a series of questions. What is it in you that make you think you're going to ruin this if it goes somewhere else? Or what is it that you see in me that you think
Mm,
is going to ruin this
mm.
if we go to this next space?
You said that's where you at, Merrick. You don't want to be connected to all the stuff they connected to. What? What is it? Come on this screen, Merrick. What we
Right,
talk
Merrick,
about?
what you doing?
What we talk about? What we talk about? What is it?
Mm. I would
I
ask
mean,
those questions because again, a lot of times, especially when you see people, when people use the thing of "I've been hurt, I've been whatever." Okay, so now you're being guided. We're now being guided by trauma, and trauma will cause you, honestly, as gracious as we are with people with trauma issues, and compassionate as we want to be with people with trauma issues. Trauma will cause you to miss your day
oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
because we're living our life based on trauma. You will miss the beauty right in front of you because of trauma. So it's like so then that says to me, okay, then you need to heal. Maybe if you healed your perspective on what relationships are, healed
Hmm.
whatever it was that, from that space or wherever drowned you or whatever the case may be. Maybe if you healed, then your eyes will be open and then you can see.
Mm.
But I think a lot of times when people say that, it's like, I don't want to ruin the friendship. Or, well, what is it in you?
Yep, because there's
What
definitely
is
some
it?
trauma there. There's
Yeah.
definitely
Mhm.
some trauma there.
What is it in you that's gonna make you ruin it? Why would
Right.
you? And here's the thing too, like what do we do when we get into these relationships? Why does it become so much more difficult now that we're a couple versus when we're friends? Do we now add expectations that we wouldn't have had of you before as a friend?
Mm-hmm.
Are there expectations there now that wasn't there at first? Yes, there are logistical things like, yeah, now we're probably going to be sharing a house. We're going to be sharing whatever. We're going to be having sex. We're going to be included. So now, is it that now because you don't sex me the way you want to, so now I got to get rid of you, and then when I get rid of you, then now we can't be friends no more. And but it's like really understanding what is the real fear behind it. What do you mean when you say you don't want to ruin you're afraid to lose the friendship, or you're afraid that the friendship will end up?
I
It's
think
like I
most
think we
people,
we gotta have real heart to heart compassionately,
yeah,
real open heart conversations. Because and I don't think we really do it. Everybody's still trying to protect something,
Mm-hmm.
I think most
and
people
that's not how
who say
relationship
that,
happens.
who say, they're afraid that it would ruin the friendship, is because they're really not confident that they would stay together. So if they crossed the line and became intimate, made it a relationship, became a couple, that if it didn't work out, that they wouldn't want to be friends. And I would think, this should be a funny story for you. you know, 10 years from now, we tried it and it didn't work out. But that's the thing. You're not confident that the relationship is actually going to work out.
Hmm.
Tamika says that be patient and guided. She's referring to what you said a few minutes ago. She said that needs to be put up in neon lights,
Great.
neon green lights, flashing. Felt that. Felt that. Merrick, I'm gonna come back to your question. Rashana says intimacy definitely adds on more expectations. I feel like intimacy can, but would, because it's intimacy, and intimacy is supposed to be, intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it should bring maybe expectations with understanding, whereas just sex just brings confusion
Mm.
Mm,
Mm.
or
mm.
improper expectations. Um, Merrick, what do you do? What do you do? Do you wait? Do you keep it moving?
He said it's either long haul or nothing.
And see, my response to that would probably be, is and this is not going to help what Merrick is asking at all,
Mm-mm.
but I don't think it's a matter of. I think it's a keep being. So because that's where your wisdom is going to
Like
come
that.
from. Do you know what I mean? It's like keep being, and when you're really centered in being whatever it is that you're, whoever it is you really are, I think that will inform whether you move on. Which I'm assuming means talk to somebody else, or say no, I'm chill, I'm good being as I am right now. I want to see what's really happening with you from a compassionate space, to see where this person really is, what's going on with
Mm-hmm.
you. I have no other interest right now anyway,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
so it's not killing me to figure out what's really happening and what's really going on
Yeah.
with you, especially as your friend. Let
As
me
your
figure out what's
friend,
really going on.
because I want you. I support you in being better and healed and whole.
Right.
Hmm. Because
But
in situations like this, like there's something that needs to be healed there.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think that if we're being, just be what, continue being whatever it is that we're
your
being.
authentic self, just keep
Yeah.
being you.
And prior
Just
to that healing happening, I think they would be doing you a disservice by even accepting your proposition. And I really think we got to get past the I'm 42, I'm 44, I'm 48. Either we in this thing or we ain't in it at all. I think we got to get past that. That goes
You know
back
what I
to
just heard?
those deal breakers that we're setting ourselves up for this disappointment.
What I just heard too was willing, having an open heart. I don't think we need to decide whether move on or stay or keep. We need to decide, am I going to have an open and willing heart? because that means now I'm open to, if somebody else does happen to come that is going to be the whatever, then I'm open to it, and open to it in a healthy way, meaning my heart is flowing. My heart is flowing the way it needs to flow, and is going to, hopefully, if we can get the others around us to flow that way or whatever. But it's like, that's kind of how I'm hearing it. It's like this, it's not a question of do I move on or do I wait. It's, do I keep my heart flowing, and do I keep myself open? Do I keep myself willing? Our hearts are actually designed to flow. You know how we talk about that, people use that, the people, I see people use the scripture all the time. Guard your Bible, said, guard your heart with all diligence. From it flows the issues like, and they don't understand the scripture. They got, it's the guard of keeping things out and keeping whatever, like from it what flows. So the guarding is about keeping it flowing. That's your due diligence for your heart, is to keep it open and to keep it flowing. Our hearts were not designed to be closed and to be, whatever. And I think that when we kind of really truly hone in on who the hell am I, and start being who that person is, that's where I believe our wisdom comes from. And sometimes that wisdom don't come in always in the favor that your ego would have wanted. But I do believe that that's where our wisdom ultimately kind of shines from. Because the logistical questions of do I move on or do I not? Something's going to happen even if you moved on. Something's going to happen where you're going to be like, dang, maybe I should have waited. Or maybe I shouldn't have. Or if that feeling for this particular individual is really there to be a significant other with them, we can move on too fast and then be moving on with somebody else and really wanting to be over there.
10
So
years
it's
from now.
yes. So it's really to find resolve in that heart space of saying, in my openness and my willingness, and in my really
Patience.
being and patience or whatever, it's like, am I able to kind of navigate from that space, versus the direct question of move on or don't move on, versus move in
Through.
and figure out what's going on in here, and then so that we can actually navigate through it.
Whew.
Yeah.
That's
Some
good.
some people use fear as a shield of protecting themselves from a relationship or commitment. Of course, fear is that's what fear is. Um, but I think at the end of the day, people are able to, like you just said, Lee, open themselves. Just open yourself and decide if you just want to be, or figure out or dig into how to be your authentic self. And that's some soul searching. And folks are very weary of doing that soul searching because you have to face yourself. You
Yeah.
have to you
Mirror.
have to you
That's a
have to
lot of
face
work.
yourself, and to thine own self be true. And a lot of people are afraid of that, and it's easier to keep up the BS or the whatever than to face yourself.
It is. It's hard, and we miss it because it's like,
Mhm.
on a good day, it's like I can talk this stuff because I
Mhm.
do know it, and I believe it's the wisdom of God. I
Mhm.
really truly do. But I also know the challenge in actually living it.
Yeah.
When
Mhm.
you're having to deal with a ego mind, you're having to deal with these desires that are out of place. When you want somebody, baby, you want them. You know what I mean? And it's like, so I get all of that. I understand all of that and have to try to work through it to myself. It's like I haven't mastered any of these things. And a lot of times, there's certain things I find myself even in sessions with people. I'm dropping what I'm hearing hot off the press from the Holy Spirit. So
Mhm.
that's why I was like, I don't, when people talk about, oh, how you gonna say such? Listen, I'm not giving you this as my advice. I'm saying what I'm saying because I feel this. That's what makes me probably different than a lot of the counselors. It's because I'm not giving you textbook.
That's
I'm
right.
giving you what I sense to be the spirit of things, to try to align from that particular space. Because it's like, otherwise we're asking questions of how to manipulate somebody. A lot of the thing, how do you get somebody to this? How do you get somebody to do whatever? And it's like, oh, so how to manipulate them? The only thing that we can say of how to get somebody to do is sometimes to get them, how do you get them to drop from their head to their heart? So that, because both spaces would still be them talking. So it's like, this is the brain on, drugs.
On steroids, right?
you know,
Hmm.
but how do I get them to really truly speak from their heart? And when they're speaking from their heart, that's where all of it, you're going to see so much. You're going to see the trauma. You're going to see the issues. You're going to see the fear. You're going to see the red, but you're also going to see them for who they really are. But we don't do disclosing the way we need to. I talk about even in my relationship, like we don't disclose the way we really should, the way we really need to. Because again, sometimes there's these expectations, or I can't say that to my partner, or I can't say that to, and listen, all of these can't do's that we can't do is ruining our relationships.
All the deal
And it's
breakers.
ruining us from we're all still feeling lonely as hell instead of actually feeling close and connected.
And having the willingness to do so.
Having the willingness to do so. That's
Yep.
gonna be our biggest thing is how willing are we gonna be?
Woo-wee.
I think that's good. I think that's good. Merrick, I want to thank you for just kind of being not kind of being, but for being very
He's been
transparent.
our MVP. Yeah.
Sharing your story or whatever. And you keep us posted now. You let us know how it go. But that willingness piece is
Super major.
major,
Super major.
super
It's super
major.
major. Listen, when you have willingness, you can work through anything. Like I'm promising that sounds like a bold statement, but I feel like when you get one, you as an individual, but when you get two people or a group of people who are willing, maybe we can work through a bunch of stuff. We can work through we can even go through some relationship woes, but still able to come out on top because we have that willing and open heart and a pure intention for each other.
He said I got my ring light on too.
I dropped the link. Anybody
His
want to
ring.
pop it?
You got 30 seconds.
Right.
Got 30 seconds.
So we closing this
Because
thing.
we closing out. We closing
Hop
out.
on in for
You
the
got you
before the new
got
year.
you
Get out
got
of here.
30 seconds to pop on.
I would
And
love to know from those that are watching, what topics should we tackle in 2023? I would love to know.
what would
You
you love
gotta,
to hear more about?
yes. What would you like to hear more about? Drop something in the chat so we can screenshot it.
Everybody that's watching, I see right now there's
That's right.
1,700 people on YouTube and there's 500 people on Facebook. I need everybody to drop in.
Call
Drop
it,
a
call it,
topic.
I
call it.
you need to drop it in.
Right.
Drop it in.
Season 2 starts next year. 2023. What should we be talking about?
Yep. What are some things that you want to deal with? Some things that you want to face? Some things that you feel like you need to be addressed, or maybe just want to learn more about.
Mhm.
Um, my energy is on 100. This is my shirt
Woo! Love
from do a quick little advertisement while they take their time and write these things. Energy on 100. This is my girl Morgan made
I
this.
like it.
it.
So
Dope.
I like it.
shout out to Morgan. She's a really dope
That's dope.
being.
I like it.
Dope.
Some musical director. You like it, Merrick? Oh, thanks. Thanks. So our next show, um, I guess we'll have to talk about that because we're talking about going to monthly shows. But definitely, if not, we will be February and we might be live and in living color, like sitting next to each other.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
Trying to take this thing to a new form, some new heights.
I'm
So
ready. I just listen
do
for my
it.
name.
Just listen for your name. Well, to the dynamic duo, you both are that dynamic. Thank you for sharing so much within these shows over this past year. Thank you for sharing so much in our private chats. Thank you for the laughs. Thank you for the heavy thinking. Thank you for the accountability. Um, and these are my friends. These two people are my friends. Are my friends, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful, just to be in the number.
Be in the
Because
number.
being the number. Um, because that you was
That was
praise
me.
dancing.
I was shouting. That was my shout dance.
Okay, man,
Don't do that no
man.
more.
I'm looking forward to more, and whatever that more is consist of. I believe it'll be ordained anyway, so I know that more will excel and it will be great. Um,
Right.
Make sure you go check out their products, angelsimmons.com, LeAnzarStockley.com. Check, hold it up, Lee, hold it up. Yep, check out their products. Follow them
And
both on social
we're gonna be
media.
doing a relaunch of this soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you do not do so as of yet, follow LeAnzar, LIONZAR, on Instagram. He's doing some great things on his reels, and he could really use your support.
I need to get this coin.
They're paying him for his content because his content is heavy, his content is deep, his content is worthy. So just go click on a few of them, check them out if you would be so obliged to like them and share them. But at least go check them out because it might be something for you. Thank you, Miss Tamika.
That's my
Excellent.
sister,
Um,
y'all.
And if you did not drop topics in the chat, best believe we're gonna be in your inbox. We'll be in your inbox.
mhm,
Now we finna be stalking.
We're gonna be in your inbox. Everybody who was here asking for topics for 2023. Just expect it. Just expect it.
Just expect.
Angel, your closing remarks.
Oh, my closing remarks for 2022. Do better. Just do better. There is so much more that we can be and do in our relationships, um, based on compassion, based on accountability, and again, our willingness to be better partners, friends, lovers, sisters, daughters. Be better. That would be my closing mark for 2022. Out of all the topics that we've touched on, it's never about other people. It's always about you.
Hmm.
It's always about you. And that's not to say it in a selfish way. That's to say it starts with you.
Hmm.
One of my favorite quotes is "Change begins with love." But we have to be willing to go that. It's not even an extra mile. It's do your due diligence to align yourself properly, and be authentic. Show up as your authentic self. Do better.
Do that.
Do better, Mr. Stockley.
I co-sign. I co-sign with what you're saying. Like, and which is even that part, like you said, it's not an extra mile. This is you doing your part in love. This is
Hmm.
us doing our part to be built up in love as love, as beings. So I guess my final thing would be really be willing to have awesome relationships.
Yep.
Just be willing to have them. And I think that when we align ourselves to that willingness to have awesome relationships, all of the wisdom we need to have it is going to flood us. Don't mean everything is going to always go right, but I think all of the wisdom you need to have great relationships is going to flood us. But we got to be willing and not just willful. A lot of times
Hmm.
our lists are willful instead of just really being willing. Are you willing to have somebody that don't meet something on your list?
Baby, ain't nobody ever met
You know,
opposite.
but you'll never know. You know what I mean? Like if we don't have that willingness and that openness to allow all of the wisdom to pour in, because
Hmm.
honestly, sometimes you might get somebody who they didn't check that off on your list, but they was exactly what you needed.
Mm, that part.
Hmm.
So be willing,
Hmm.
great. Be willing to have great relationships, friendships, family, significant others, even coworkers. Hell, be willing to have great.
Whew, you pushing the line, man. Whew. Bryson, do you have closing remarks?
Um, I just gave mine. That's it. That's all I got. You know, Go for it. Go for what you know. Go for what you know because you'll never know if you don't. Remember that apology is change behavior.
Oof.
It's more than just a word.
Ooh.
Mm.
Ooh.
Merrick, thank you for your consultation on what we need to do.
That's good.
Tamika, we hear you with the self care. I think we got a show on that already, but with that type of thing can always be reiterated.
I like that.
Expand it.
I like that, Merrick.
Expand it.
You can pin stuff on Facebook or just Instagram.
Pin it? What do you mean? Have it pinned to all your pages? What that mean?
Oh yeah, I can pin it. You can
Oh,
pin it on
like
your business page. Can you pin stuff on your personal page? He don't know. You just throwing stuff.
the Google form. He's talking
I
about the
just
Google
work
form.
here. I just work here.
I know you can pin stuff on like your business pages on Facebook and on Instagram. I don't know if you could have on your personal page, Rashana. Can you do that? That would be cool. I've never tried
I
that.
don't know none of this language of
Oh
pinning
my
that y'all
goodness.
talking about. I'm 44.
Look,
Oh,
I'm not 42 and 40 whatever. I'm 44.
thank you, Rashana. I will definitely look into that. That's
Rashana
pretty dope.
always know.
That's
She's
dope.
smart. She's smart on
mhm.
I would do a
Sundays.
post. I ain't doing no Google form, but that sounds like work. But I,
The Google form
but
might be easier.
we can
Or
do a
make a
post
cool
though.
QR code and post. Merrick, good night now
Come
with your
on, Mary.
intelligent
Man.
self.
It's Sunday. You got me doing
Right, it's
office
Monday
work.
already now.
Google
But that's a
forms, the
good point. That is a
QR
good
You is
code.
a
making me
QR code is
anxious.
very a QR code is very today, it might be nice.
Lord.
It is. It
Well,
is. Thank you.
That
Then
sound like
switched into
office
business mode. Yes, you have. Thank you guys so
you
much. Yeah,
you
you
want for it.
woke. Well, we finna go night night. I'm so
I'm
glad we
feeling
had this time together.
that
We're
right.
not doing a show in January though, right? We're this February is gonna be out. We have to let the people know.
Are
Is
we taking
February
a
gonna be our
break?
first show for the year?
Do y'all want? Are we taking a break?
Well, we talked about well we could probably talk about this off the air.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
We talked
Well,
about
y'all will
February.
find out in a couple weeks.
Right. You'll find out. You'll find out real soon.
Real soon. Because Angel, let me tell you, with her marketing self, she keeps it going.
What I
She do
do?
because I just listen for my name.
She keeps it
I don't even be
going.
knowing if I'm part of it. I just look and say, "Oh, my face on that picture." I guess that means I'm supposed to be there.
Terrible. Terrible.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying
Terrible.
to keep up. My calendar be looking crazy lately. It's ridiculous.
Thank
Look
you
at
all
this. Look
for
at that.
tuning in. Thank you for
Yeah.
joining us at the show.
The
At the
show.
The
show.
show. At the
Thank
show.
you for joining
Peace and love.
the
Oh, we
show.
got a we got a song. We got a
Yeah, we do. We do.
okay, proceed.
Did it
Well,
Okay.
again.
you gonna do it in the background, like while I'm talking, like in
Thank
the.
you for
All right, thank you
joining
guys so much for
the
joining us.
show.
Peace and love. Have a great holiday. Why don't you keep going?
I mean, he don't know. Got
Thank
to
you
keep a
for
party going.
All
joining
right, thank you guys for
the
joining
show.
us. Peace and love. Enjoy your
Brysen
holiday.
and Angel
Make sure you love on
and
somebody and let them
Zar.
love on you.
Thank you for
Happy
joining
Kwanzaa. Don't forget to
the
celebrate that.
show.
And hopefully your
Oh,
new year will be better, your best year yet.
thank you for joining the show, because Nationwide is on your side.
Good night.
We love y'all.
Good night, folks. Love y'all. I am love for you. Peace.
Peace.